Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Sale.
Cody, I'll tell you now, it was a somber weekend in Cyclone Nation, uh, especially with the news of Matt Campbell. But you know what? We're going to start off with a joyous occasion. Man, we needed this, but man, Iowa State dismantled Purdue at Mackey Arena, one of the toughest places to play. Man, Cody, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, this definitely was not how I projected the game to go. I think a lot of us, I think everybody watching this game expected to be a kind of a heavyweight last man standing type of fight. This thing, it did look like it in the first half, but the second half, it was all Iowa State. And that was the most shocking thing. It was just how dominant Iowa State was against Purdue in the second half.
Yeah, man, it just being a lot of the stuff that we were talking about in the pregame show, or not in the pregame show, in the preview pod on Thursday. A lot of stuff we did. We were like 9 of 16 from three. I think we shot like 40+ percent on field goals. Lon was in his bag. I think he had like 24 points. Man, Andrew Buchanan, man, he was the guy. I think he had like 10-7 or like 12-9, something like that. Uh, so a spectacular performance by the Cyclones, and I know that now. I really really think that this team can go to places that we've never been to, in Iowa State basketball.
Yeah, I think like for this, it was obviously the biggest thing coming into this game was Taman Lipsey going to play because of like how important Taman Lipsey is to the team, and we saw on like it was game time decision, but we saw the morning of with the Cycle basketball page. They posted a picture of Taman Lipsey, and the caption was "Forgot to post this last night," and it gave Iowa State fans confidence because they did see Taman Lipsey was warming up, so it was a good sign to see Taman Lipsey play in this game. I mean, he played this game. He had 32 minutes. He had 9 points, but 8 assists and 5 rebounds. So pretty solid performance out of him. And of course, Killian Torrey, the two guards were doing really well. Killian Torrey did a really nice job in limiting locking down Braden Smith.
Yes, and that was one of the matches I was looking forward to, and I was worried about how the young guys were gonna adjust to the Mackey crowd. They handled it just so well, and like the fact that it was a back and forth game, and Iowa State was able to take the lead. I Bleav 35-31 going into halftime. I was thinking, all right, I'm like, all right, we got to keep up this intensity, and I Bleav it was still back and forth up until I Bleav either the 16-minute mark or the 15:50 mark in the second half, and that's where the Cyclones took off, man.
Yeah, I mean Braden Smith usually is known for like I mean we forced what was it 6 turnovers on him, and usually
Mm-hmm.
Braden Smith he's pretty efficient with the ball. I mean he still got 8 turnovers, but I think at one point he only had 2 assists in the second half. I think the broadcast team called it out, and I mean this is going to be something that's completely different, like from the game itself. But the broadcasting team, it felt a little weird listening to because it was Brad Nessler and Bill Raftery on the call, and I love those two guys. Those two guys do great at their job. But this game, it felt like there was a lot. They were talking a lot more about the Purdue team than they were talking about Iowa State. So that kind of rubbed a good amount of Iowa State fans the wrong way.
Yeah, I think they had an expectation. There's this expectation of thinking that like the Big Ten is very good, but I feel like the Big 12 has proven itself as the best basketball conference over the last five to 10 years, and it's not. I'm not even saying that it's just as biased. It's just a fact. Like you see Houston last year, Kansas winning, Baylor winning. The Big 12 won back-to-back national championships, and they had three national championship appearances in 5 years. So I just don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why you know we're getting slighted like that. So I think it's just like a sort of like a chip on the shoulder thing. But yeah, look at this. Look at the efficiency right here. 54% from the field, 48% from three. So like when you shoot at those percentages, you're gonna win a lot of games.
Yeah. Yeah, and the weird thing was, I think a lot of us coming into the game, we were expecting Iowa State to regret, like quote unquote, regress to the mean, and we had joked around saying that we were going to shoot like 2 of 20 from three, and Purdue was going to feast on us because of a bad shooting performance. But But we showed that we can shoot like this going in multiple games, going from game to game and against different opponents too. So yeah, we talk about the efficiency, 40%. We had multiple guys like Mila Momcilovic, Joshua Jefferson, and Killian Torrey all hit threes, multiple threes. Tame Lissu hit a three, and Nate Heisey as well.
Yeah,
Yep,
we're gonna
three of
take a
four.
look at the full box score. Yeah, here we go. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So Mila Momcilovic, yeah, you mentioned he had 20 some points. He did have 20 points, 3 of 7 from three, 8 of 17 from the field, so just a little under 50%. And Mila Momcilovic, he was hunting a lot of shots, and that's what we've wanted to see out of him. And we're glad to see that he has matured. And he's getting it done at all three levels, whether it's from the perimeter, from the mid range, or even driving into the paint.
Yeah, man. He can shoot, go from anywhere. He can drive the basket, shoot from has unlimited range. And like I said, yeah, and we see Blake Buchanan 12, 9, and 2, Joshua Jefferson with 11, 2, and 4, Killian Toure 13, 5, and 1. Uh and then Taman with 9, 5, and 8. So basically he almost had a triple double. And then Dominicus played also had some really, really good minutes. Um he was able to get one big offensive rebound, one block. Dominic Nelson had a great game, 7 points off the bench. Nate Heisey also had a good game, 3 of 7, 1 of 4 from three, with 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. So everybody was able to contribute, and it was a great team win for the Cyclones.
Yeah, and I think Dominicus played a. It wasn't going to show the stat sheet, but he caused some problems for Trey Kaufman. Like when he came in for Blake Buchanan, he caused some problems for Trey Kaufman, Wren, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer. So he was doing a great job walling up guys in the paint, not letting them get easy shots. And then with Jameer and Bateman, he did a good enough job to keep the legs fresh for Torrey and Lipsy. Dominic Nelson, I think a lot of people have said this. He's basically Keyshawn Gilbert 2.0. He's the kind of guy that once he sees a lane, he's to hit the rim, he's going to attack the rim. He's not going to think of anything else, and he's just going to go up and drive. And more often than not, he's drawing fouls.
Definitely, man. I think he's going to be definitely key to the season, especially when conference play comes up, and we have a huge uh, a matchup this week on Thursday as we host the Hawkeyes in Hilton Coliseum. So that it is going to be a raucous crowd, a very angry crowd on Thursday night in Hilton.
Yeah, yeah, just like coming back to more. Defensively, just Nate Heisey continues to be a problem defensively. I think we saw in
Mm-hmm.
KenPom that Nate Heisey, 2026 Nate Heisey was amongst like the most consistent. Like he was like the consistent player because like in terms of efficiency, 2026 Nate Heisey is met with 2025 Nate Heisey. It was some tweet like that, but it just shows how consistent Nate Heisey has been.
Was it that Megatron?
I think
Because I think
so.
that's who it was.
Let me just I'm gonna go take a look at their account. Let's see if I can find it somewhere. Yeah, no, yeah, it was originally no Cyclone Dave.
Cyclone
Compare
Dave.
so
Okay,
yeah, so
gotcha.
yeah, so this is what he said. Comparable players for 2026 Nate Heisey, 2025 Nate Heisey, Mister Consistent.
Yeah, he is a menace, man. He is a pest and a menace on defense. So he gives a great minutes. That's why, and the fact that he's playing with confidence offensively makes him a dangerous player. But here currently, we're looking at the KenPom ratings right now. We see the offensive rating; they are net up to number 6, and they have moved up to number 2 defensively, just right behind Michigan.
Yeah. It really helps when you're able to hold the big three of Purdue, like the number one team in the country in their building, to very limited production. We talk about Brady Smith having 6 turnovers. Iowa State was able to hold Fletcher Lloyd to only 5 points off of 1 of 5 shooting from the perimeter. Trey Kaufman Wren could not get a few shots to land. He had a few floaters that just wouldn't land, and I think that was just the defensive presence of Blake Buchanan, Dominicus Plata, and all the other guys, like in the way that Iowa State plays defense. And I think I even saw a video from Field of 68. They were break down how Iowa State's defense like made Purdue look like garbage. It made Purdue just frustrated and out of sync.
Yeah, and they were complaining a lot too. Like they're complaining about the lack of fouls being called. It was really, really soft behavior by Purdue. And another thing about Purdue is that Purdue, unless they don't hit shots, they are very, very unathletic. Like that athleticism for Iowa State really, really got to them, and it showed at the end of the game.
Yeah, I noticed it. Yeah, Oscar Clough was just not like he could not keep up with Blake Buchanan for a full 40 minutes. I mean, this goes to the remember we had the whole like talk about like did Iowa State miss out on a potential grade five with missing on Oscar Clough and settling for Blake Buchanan? I think
Yes,
that settled. And I mean, we gotta talk about the fact that like we have a new fan base of like we have a new nickname for Blake Buchanan, like the new nickname for the fan base, the Buccaneers.
I love it, man. The Buccaneers, man.
Yeah, and
Forget
I
the
mean
presidents.
he's
I'm a Buccaneer, man. I am a Buccaneer.
we've got a president and a pirate. What is going on? But yeah, I mean that's just a credit to Blake Buchanan and what he's done. And I mean we've always talked. He's like been like the prototypical Otzelberger guy, and he's exactly what Otz is looking for. So it's great to see him thriving, and I think he's done well in this role. So I think I saw somewhere it was like safe to say I think the Juicy Wiggle is ours now. Purdue, we can go ahead and take that dance from you, and you can get back a sandstorm to South Carolina.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, no, the Juicy Wiggle is so much better. The fact that they do it the Sandstorm is lame, bro.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we talk about Iowa State's efficiency. Purdue's lack of efficiency killed them because they went 4 of 18 from the perimeter and 6 of 14 from the free throw line, so they weren't getting anything.
Yeah, and it was all their big men at the line that were missing all their shots at the free throw
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
So
I will admit, the one guy that gave us problems was Daniel Jacobson, the 7'4" dude. He was giving
yeah,
us problems early, but I mean that, and he's a sophomore, so I don't know how I'm gonna feel. We have to play him again next year, but I think we can match up if we can do it in our building, in their building. We can do it in our building. So, and obviously next year you're gonna lose Trey Kaufman, Wren, you're gonna lose Braden Smith, look, and you're also gonna lose Fletcher Lawyer. All three of those are your seniors, and what I saw out of their role players, I, I was not. I don't know what. What do you think this does, obviously, for Purdue, like going forward? What do you think they have to do going forward?
I think so. I think this is going to be a blip on the radar for them. Like I think this type of game right here will definitely put it into focus. Like cuz obviously you learn a lot more about yourself in losses than you do wins because wins, especially if you win, obviously you're going to point out the stuff but you won. But when you lose, it definitely magnifies a lot of different situations that you need to improve on.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I think Matt Painter said it best when he was talking the post in his post game presser. Iowa State took our spirit. That's exactly what Iowa State did, and that's kind of what we want. Like, I think that's how exactly I want to see Iowa State play defense. I want to see them frustrate teams, and it was a thing of beauty to just watch this. You just tell. At one point, we just saw Fletcher chuck up a random shot, hoping to get a foul call, and I mean that just showed the frustration.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh, I'm like, that was a horrible way to try to force up a shot. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
I would. It definitely
Yeah,
was him trying to get a foul call, but I mean, we talk
right.
about the foul calls and Purdue getting lack of like foul calls. I think they got some questionable ones too. They got some favorable ones, so it worked both ways.
I don't want to hear it from Purdue, man. I don't want to hear it.
Oh yeah.
But
Overall, dude.
I'm I'm not gonna cap, bro. We needed that in the worst way.
Oh no, yeah, because we got the band. We need to talk about these last like 48 hours, 72 hours for cycle football.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about some of the coaching moves. Obviously, the if you want to share your screen, they did share. I think Iowa State. I forgot what page that was, but he has all the ones we know. What we do know is that Jimmy Rogers is bringing his staff along with him. So
Yeah. Actually, this came
yes,
out literally just like a couple minutes ago. So this is Jimmy Rogers officially in town, like his first team meeting with the staff or with the teams. really instantly setting the tone. And I got to show some of the moves from Iowa State Nation. They've done a good amount of stuff. But yeah, I mean, look at
Yes.
this. Look at this. Like when you arrive to Ames, because there was a whole tailgate for this. I saw Chris Williams talk about like people are literally tailgating for this. I'm like, that is one of the most Iowa State things to do. It's just yeah, right here, Chad Settle. This guy is one of it's just great. This was fun to watch.
Dude, I gave him a follow because of this. I'm like, this is
I did
awesome.
too.
We have the best fan base in the nation. I don't care what anybody says. We have the best fan base in the nation.
Yeah,
Even though some
this is
some
the yep.
some
Some
rival
fans
teams
will
said
to
that it
get
was fine.
yeah, no, like the replies here. It's hilarious, like because like you knew Iowa fans were just they were eating this up. They are eating this up. But I wonder how it's going to feel for them when we go into their building and we kick their ass.
If we walk in their trap and take over the trap again with a new coach, man.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean these are some of the latest like moves here we're seeing. Yeah, Derek Hooger will follow Matt Campbell. We've also had a Ryan Clanton leaving for Penn State, and then most recently, about a couple hours ago, from is John Haycock is leaving for Penn State as well. So Matt Campbell is taking a few of his guys with him to Happy Valley, but I mean there are a couple things Iowa State did get one like this one guy to note. Ross Watson joins Iowa State as a co-defensive coordinator. Something to note, he is from Toledo, so I mean, the last time we brought in a guy from Toledo, it worked out for us. But I digress. So, in reference, Toledo's defense was actually one of the best in the country. They were fourth in points per game, or fifth in passing yards per game, eighth in rushing yards per game, fifth in touchdowns allowed, ninth in sacks, and 13th in takeaways per game. So it sounds like we are getting some pretty good guys, and I think I think it's slowly starting to bring out all the skepticism. And also, Jesse Bobbitt will join Iowa State as a co-defensive coordinator. So he's one of the guys that just Jimmy Rogers is bringing over from Wazoo to Ames. A lot of coaching, like the coaching moves, a lot of them have been made already, and it's just yeah. I mean, we're going to see more. Like obviously, we'll probably know more about these coaches as we get to read about them more and understand them more. But yeah, I mean, I hope with these hires, what did you think?
I am very, very excited about these defensive hires. I'm very, very interested to see, like we talked about in the last two podcasts that we recorded on Saturday or Friday. I want to see because now that we lost Campbell, now it's going to be I think it's a 30-day window that now that the players can leave. So it's going to be interesting to see who we retain and who leaves. So honestly, we'll see. My hopium and my wish is there if there's any way that we can retain Mauser, because if we can retain him, man, that would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I
that would
guess
be yep.
the only thing I'm wondering, because if Matt is truly getting all his guys, that means that it might be Mouse. But you look at what they have, and I don't know if you saw, there was a Penn State page that earlier that said that John Hickok is leaving, but it might be in the analyst position because Jim Knowles is still there. So he might be. I don't know if he's going to be maybe like a defensive analyst and maybe not the coordinator position, because Jim Knowles is still there, and Jim Knowles is one of the best coordinators, probably the best defensive coordinator in college football.
Yeah, I
And
would assume
Andy
probably yep.
Kolbneck is still there too. So I don't know if
Yeah,
Matt Campbell's keeping him or if Mauser's going. So we don't know.
yeah, that'd be interesting if you would really like if Taylor Mauser would like to try to compete with Andy Kolomnicki, because last year Penn State. I think if I look at the Penn State like offensive statistics, like if they like let me just look at their statistics. I don't know. Did Penn State's offense shake you in any way? Because I don't know.
Not really. But it's also because, but like if Noah Polley goes, which I think he will,
Yeah.
like the one thing that Penn State lacked, even when on their playoff run, is having a lack of receivers. So, like being able to have receivers, I know Noah Pollard is probably going to end up going because that's going to be a great asset trying to get that receiver room going. And I know with Penn State fans, and definitely on the podcast I listen to, Solid Verbal, Ty Hildenbrandt is Penn State fan. What he always is complaining about is Penn State's lack of a receiver room. So I think you got to think they can. And Clinton's already going there with the offensive line, and they struggled with their offensive line. So I just some of the weaknesses that I see, I already know some of the coaches are going to be out there as so it should be interesting to see who will retain and then and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at Penn State. They were in the bottom half of the Big Ten. So they were around the same as Maryland and Northwestern, and
Oh
a little
boy.
bit behind Illinois. So they had an average of 359 yards per game, which would translate to 181 passing yards per game and 177 rushing yards per game. And they scored about 31.8, like 32 points per game. Pretty solid, but I mean, it also doesn't take into account the teams they exactly played. 'Cause, I mean, I'm looking at like the games that they did lose. They didn't outside of Ohio State. They were in them. They were in these games, so it's not like Penn State.
They were
They didn't. It's not like they didn't have the talent. They just couldn't really like execute. I think that was the
they
thing. I
could
think
finish
that was
games, yeah.
so I think maybe defensively that can help too. You bring in a defensive staff. So I think if you're Matt Campbell, you know that like maybe Penn State doesn't have an offensive problem, or maybe you might need to like tweak some things in the offense. But you know you have some good talent, and then defensively, that was you have a really good defense with Jim Knowles winning the best coordinator or whatever whatever you call it, whatever you called it. But I think it's going to be. I think it might be more of like reloading and fixing the offense a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think that's what
but I
it
don't
is.
know. So it's like maybe the leadership part of it could help, and also like Drew Aller obviously got injured, so that kind of hampered things for Penn State. But also,
Is
I
he
think
coming back or is he done? I thought he was done.
Drew Aller had like I think he has a redshirt year, like he might get
A medical
a
redshirt?
medical
Okay.
possibly because he did get in. What was it? He got injured in the
Northwestern game,
what?
right?
Yeah,
Or okay.
yeah, I believe so. So maybe he doesn't. I don't know because of like
All
he's
right.
played more than So it probably wouldn't be him, but Grunkenmeyer might be somebody that could be solid because I mean he had 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, so not the best, but again he was able to string 3 straight wins after the loss at Ohio State and then versus Indiana. But that Indiana game, he kept up. He kept up with Mendoza and Signetti, so they were able to keep up. So I think there was a vote of confidence with him in the Indiana game, and then getting 3 straight wins to end your year while doing your job. I think he could possibly be the guy. I don't know, assuming Rocco Beck doesn't go, but I mean that's gonna be interesting if Rocco does truly leave and goes with Matt Campbell to Penn State. That's gonna be an interesting quarterback.
Honestly, like that's honestly what I think is going to be the thing. If Rocco goes, I think a lot of the team's going to go because he's the leader of the team. So if he goes, and I think a lot of everybody else is going to go. So, but we'll have to see. One of the other things I want to talk about is since it looks like we're going to be losing a lot of the team, we're not going to be able to retain a lot. But this, obviously, this is pure speculation. We have seen a lot of bowl opt outs. I think there was been a number, including Iowa State, K State, Kansas, UCF. I believe who else? Rice. There was like a whole bunch of other teams that
Yeah,
opted out because a lot of these teams either have new coaching staffs or they just want to start anew for the next season.
yeah.
Let me just say this though: the worst of these opt outs is Notre Dame.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna talk some stuff on
So
Notre Dame real quick.
go ahead.
This is like Notre Dame is charm and soft, bro. You're gonna like ruin your seniors like last time of playing because you're mad because you didn't get into the playoff. Cry me a freaking river, bro. That's soft behavior.
Yeah, let me go find like their full statement. I gotta find their full statement about this. So this is the Notre Dame statement about
Oh
the
yeah,
withdrawal.
share your screen so we can see it, so everybody can see it.
Yep. Let's see. Yep. So this is like it's actually a screenshot from RG3, but this is from Notre Dame. As a team, we decided to withdraw our name from consideration for our bowl game following the 2025 season. We appreciate all the support from our families and fans, and we hope to bring the 12th national title to South Bend in 2026. The
They ain't doing
2025
that.
Notre Dame football team. Okay, for reference, Iowa State's opt out was for diff. Like, we got to be talking about this. Like, okay, this is the reason for Iowa State's opt out. This is from Jamie Pollard. This is his statement on the decision. The administrative staff and coaches respect and support the players' decision. Our student athletes have had an incredible season. We are grateful for their leadership as we work through this process with them today. And then it did mention something about, I think we did see something get mentioned about like all the injuries and like one of the big things was the injuries and not being able to field a team safety practice and play in this game. So, and it also sounded like it was a players' vote. Players voted to opt out of this bowl game, and boy, oh boy, did this cost even more. This put more gasoline on the fire in this whole situation.
It caused a firestorm. A lot of people like saying, "Man, why aren't the players playing?" To me, look, they made their decision, so look, I'm good with it, bro. Like, I get it. I know that may not be the most popular thing in this fan base right now because everybody's angry, but that's their decision. And we also got to talk about the discourse with the athletic director. We gotta bring it up. I've been in conversations all day this morning. I've been in my feelings the last few days. I got to get your thoughts on it, Cody. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, having to live like through this, it's definitely been like it's been so weird. Like it's been so like kind of like it's like taking a bunch of jabs from like Mike Tyson. It's one body. It's like taking a body shot after another in boxing. So it's like as if you think you're recovered. No, you get hit with another body shot. So that's just what this whole situation is felt like. And then just the way I've been like listening to like polished statements, and I try my best not to like be skewed because I obviously have my opinions on Jamie Pollard, but I can understand I understand his statements, but it's just hard for me to like really agree. And it just the way, and I did see a forum from Psychofanatic from the founder like Jeremy,
Mm-hmm.
and I read that fully. And boy,
I
if
did
that's
too.
like fully true, then ooh,
I
we
saw it
there are
because
things
Heather
that need to be
from
changed. Yeah, yeah,
dude,
Heather.
yeah, Heather Burnside,
Yeah,
yeah.
not just her, but so many people like tweet like I saw like Travis like quote tweet about it, it's like state of the nation or whatever. Yeah. Reading that full thread, I'm like, holy cow. It's like you uncover more about like the behind the scenes, and boy, if some of these things are true, then yeah, I would think there are changes to like that need to be made, and maybe it's not like people, but it's like it's mentality. Because I think one of
Yes.
the things that Jimmy Paul has been criticized for is how he has handled this NIL world and kind of like the way like it's been distributed and whatever. And I mean, because putting on my tinfoil hat real fast, maybe that was one of the that was probably one of the reasons Campbell left. It's just the way that the NIL situation was like handled, or whatever.
But you could also look at it from a situation from the other side of maybe him getting tired of being able to having to restructure Matt's contract each and every year because of the whole situation of asking for more money for players and stuff. Obviously, this is all speculation. We don't really know anything, and probably won't know anything until something is said. But yeah, like that whole entire post on the pages of Cyclone Fanatic, that was
Yeah, the
crazy. I read
forums.
the forums. That was insane. I'm like, bro. I'm like, man, this is had a chance to be bad. But I'll say this, Cyclone fans, if you've got a chance, let's. I know it hurts, but honestly, we gotta move on, and it's hard
Mm-hmm.
because I was sad, and I know it was bad because because of this, I couldn't really focus at church, and I know like there's a lot more things that are more important than like football, but like man, I was in my feelings today, and up until like a few hours ago to where it's just at this point it's like, you know what, we just gotta let it go. I muted like
Yeah.
everything. I muted all things Penn State on my page or on my feeds. I'm like, nah, dog. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
I kind of made the mistake of not doing it, and like my feed keeps showing Matt Campbell landing in State College, and I put the tweet out with the Drewski wine glass. I'm like, son of a why? Why is this on my feed, bro? It keeps showing up. I'm like, come on. But
Yeah.
you know what's funny? Speaking of Penn State, real quick, I saw somebody predict that Penn State and Clemson would meet in the postseason, and I mean they were right. That was the funny thing. But it was like in the Pinstripe Bowl, so that's the funniest thing. That was the best thing I saw. It's like, wow. So in some way, shape, or form, Matt Campbell still he has to somehow deal with Clemson. He's probably gonna say, "I'm like, oh, son, I have to watch this one. Like my future team play Clemson."
Right, exactly. But like I said, we if you got time, tune into ESPN Plus tomorrow. I Bleav the Jimmy Rogers press conference
Yeah.
is at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So if you got time, I know I'll be tuned in. Cody will be tuned in, and I'm pretty sure we'll have our thoughts after that. So
Oh
we'll
yeah, you know
definitely hear our
some
thoughts on
sickos are
Thursday
gonna
show.
try to break into that. It's like they're gonna like be like sitting like they're gonna be sitting grass out of the Jacobson building and whatnot, trying to get like the big scoop.
Yeah.
That's just gonna happen. That's gonna be, yeah. But I mean, this Jimmy Rogers. I mean, what the way like this guy looks, and I mean, I think he might already fit the bill. No pun intended. I mean, somebody just randomly tweeted this. Look at the way my man's hat bill is curved. Look at that thing.
Wow.
He's already embraced it. He's already embraced it.
And he's wearing black, so the black jerseys aren't going away. Let's go. Let's go.
The next thing we need to see is Jimmy Rogers to start wearing like the script Cyclones. He probably got this as a gift, but like we need to start seeing him wearing like the script Cyclones. You know what's crazy? We see Jeremiah Cooper. I see a reply saying, "Jeremiah, I see Cooper. I see you. Please stay." Nate Heisenberg. Yeah, that's one of the things. Like obviously the portals we're gonna hear a lot.
Oh, it opens tomorrow, so we'll see it. We'll hear a lot about it tomorrow. So
yeah. So I mean that's just so wait, I think somebody said Matt Campbell like I think it's like the old quote, you can kill the man, but you can never kill the idea.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. I love Cyclone Twitter, man.
Yeah. I mean I think I have to expect somebody to start making Psychophanatic shirts saying hold the line. I don't know if it was Jake Brendan said or somebody at Psychophanatic said it, but like yes.
Hold the line.
That would be the funniest like shirt to have.
And wear them next year to the home opener
against Southeast Missouri State.
With Cyclone Larry's, well, with Stephen Lee's face, but
Stephen Lee's face. God, I love those like me shirts. And you know, I'm so glad. Like, it's so I'm even seeing like a bunch of people like back to Notre Dame real quick. I'm glad we're starting to see like a bunch of other schools like clown them for it. Even Iowa clown them. Like, I can agree with that. But
yes, and speaking of that, we have to talk about the playoff, man. The college football playoff is an absolute travesty.
Yeah,
I'm pissed.
Let me see if I can find the. Okay, let me see if I can find the bracket real quick because I'm assuming you've seen the bracket, right?
Yes, I have.
All right, so for those like watching on here, like watching the video, the bracket and it goes as follows. So Indiana wins the Big Ten after beating Ohio State 13-10. So great job with Kurt Signetti and company. So we can probably use this as well to kind of summarize championship weekend. Indiana, Ohio State, that thing was a nail biter down on the wire. Indiana is able to pull out the 13-10 win, and Indiana wins their first outright conference title since 1967, and they are the Big Ten champions, and they are the number one overall seed, so they'll be playing in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Their opponent, Ohio State. So we did predict if Indiana was to win, that they would swap spots. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Ohio State. They're gonna be the number 2 overall seed, and they're gonna play hosts to the Cotton Bowl. The number 3 seed, the SEC champion, the Georgia Bulldogs, after blowing out Alabama, stand number 3. They're gonna be playing in the All-State Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day, as well as Indiana, Ohio State, and this next team will be playing. Well, actually, Ohio State's the only one that plays on New Year's Eve, and then the third team that's gonna be playing on New Year's Day is the Big 12 champion Texas Tech Red Raiders, blowing out BYU again. They are the number 4 overall seed. That is your top 4 seeds of the playoff bracket. So the first round matchups go as follow. The 12th seed out of the Sun Belt champions, the Dukes of James Madison, will travel to Eugene, Oregon to take on the number 5 seed Oregon Ducks. The winner of that game will go on to play Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl. The Oklahoma Sooners out of the SEC, the number 8 seed, will play host to number 9 Alabama. This will be a rematch of a regular season matchup where Oklahoma won in Tuscaloosa 23-21, and the winner of that game will play Indiana in the Rose Bowl. The number 6 seed, Ole Miss, who just had Lane Kiffin walk out the door after the Egg Bowl, will play host to the number 11 seed, the Green Wave of Tulane, the American Conference champions, and this will be a rematch of a regular season matchup as well. The winner of this game will play Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. And the final matchup of the first round will be the Texas A&M Aggies out of the SEC playing the ACC, the only representative out of the ACC as an at-large bid, which is kind of funny. The Miami Hurricanes come in as a 10 seed, and that game will be played at College Station. And the winner of Miami, Texas A&M will play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and this is a rematch of another regular season matchup from actually a couple of years ago. I mean, looking at this, like, which matchup kind of intrigues you the most?
I would have to say it would be probably Alabama, Oklahoma. That game was a back and forth. I call it a classic a few weeks ago in Tuscaloosa, where Alabama or not, or Oklahoma proved to be victorious 23 in that game. So this is going to be the rubber match. As even though I don't agree with Alabama making it, this game has a chance to be a really good one, and then both of these teams have a probably good chance to have a good game against Indiana in a Rose Bowl. It's going to be funny because if Oklahoma or Alabama win this game, it's going to be the whole Rose Bowl is going to be crimson and cream because that's literally the same color that Indiana wears.
Oh, like it's gonna be just an entire bowl of red. It's gonna make it. It's gonna make the Rose Bowl just look like. Oh, it's gonna. You're gonna like imagine no context. You put no logos. You thought USC was playing in this game
Oh my gosh!
with the amount of red in the stadium. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like the group of 6. I am kind of glad they put in Tulane and James Madison. But boy, oh boy, the bubble. There were some issues with people in the bubble. Like we got to talk about the teams that were like the first 4 out. I don't know where if I could find something about that. Okay, so you have so the first 2 out was Notre Dame and BYU, and I think you also had like Vandy and Texas as the first 4 out, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. All
But
right,
boy, boy,
let's talk about it.
yeah, I'm just gonna say, man, like first off, like really, like I gotta go. Like it's more Texas I'm talking about, boy. Dude, Texas had been the loudest throughout this entire thing. And boy, they were probably more pissed about this.
I don't understand why. That we all everybody has been telling them, you if you do not if you wouldn't have lost to Florida, you guys would have been in the playoff.
Yeah.
So,
You
but
know,
now they're
that
going on this stupid rant of saying, "Oh, we're just gonna play easier games." I'm like, okay, then that means you have to you have to take care of business in conference. That's why you didn't make it. It's not because of you losing to Ohio State. It's because you lost to Florida. That's what it is. I don't understand why Texas fans were making excuses about all the other games that they played. It's because you lost to Florida. We have said that until we're blue in the face. I don't understand why they don't get that. But another one problem that I have is that I'll say this, the the committee is hypocritical because in the same breath they said that if you lose by multiple scores in the championship game, like I know Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler were talking about it. Man, they said that, like, they're talking about BYU saying that, like, I don't know if they deserve to get in because they lost to Texas Tech by 34-7. But Alabama also lost 28-7 by 3 touchdowns to Georgia, and now they deserve to get in after losing to a 5-7 Florida State. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And BYU's 2 losses were to Texas Tech. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, they got killed both times, but you're going to tell me that Alabama deserved to be in over BYU?
Yeah,
Come
and
on
given
now.
the one of the things they talk about too is like the eye test. This Alabama squad, I mean, I've been watching them for the last month, and boy oh boy, they do not look the prettiest. Like if we're gonna talk about
Cody,
eye tests and all that,
they ran for -3 yards. Like, they can't run
right,
the ball.
right. So it's like, what are we doing? Like it was so ridiculous. They didn't even drop a spot. They didn't even
And now,
drop a spot. That's the funny thing. It's like, how did they not drop a single spot? Like, Grant, you could have probably, I would have probably swapped Miami for Alabama. Look at,
now, look, I know there were some people who had a problem. I don't have a problem with Miami going in, and Notre Dame shouldn't have been in because, I agree. The Miami swapping over Notre Dame. I agree with that. Miami will be in,
I get it. Yeah.
but
And also, this kind of like Notre Dame, join a conference, please. You could
yes,
have really done, like, please. You can at least play for a conference title. I know you want that sweet money, you want that NBC money, but you also have to face the consequences of choosing to do that.
facts. So
It's just college football is the only sport where we shit on where teams complain about having to like that they play non-con like tough non-con games and they lose. This is the only sport where it happens. Now, granted, there's only 12 games and whatever, but it's like this is the only sport where people complain, oh, we're never going to play these tough non-con games because they don't do anything for us. I'm like, this, I swear, college football is the only sport where we do that. And also, it's the only sport where we complain about like group of five getting in, earning their spot. It's ridiculous. I hate that's the bureaucracy part of it. I hate the most. It's so dumb that literally every other sport, like college basketball, for example, they obviously have a thing where it's like you win your conference, you go to you get your shot at the playoff, like and it's celebrated. But in college football, you're a group of five school, and you get your shot, and everyone's like, "Oh, you don't deserve to be in or whatever." And then when like say like they get blown out, I was like, "That's what I told you. I told everybody that's why you don't deserve to be in." Like, it's so stupid. Like, what's the difference about a conference champion getting an automatic bid in the March Madness than them getting an automatic bid into the college football playoff?
well, and then you see the team. You see the team breakdown. It was five SEC, 3 Big 10, 1 Big 12, and 1 ACC, and then two group of six. I knew I like this is all setting up to become like the Big 10 and SEC Invitational, and like a lot of fans are just getting fed up, and like I'm starting to get fed up because basically what this has become now is just the college football is just based around the playoff, and it shouldn't be because before, like it used to, I've been a firm believer and supporter of maybe putting don't have these quarterfinal games at like these big bowl games. Have them on campus, and then when you go to the semis, switch out these group of six bowls and switch them out for every other year for the semifinals and the national championship. I think that's what you got to do because the fact that you're playing a game at the Orange Bowl again in the first round, and then you're gonna in the quarterfinals, and then that's where the national championship's gonna be. There's no point. This is a flawed system, and the between for the Big 10 and the SEC is clearly shown here. So
Yeah, it makes it feel like it makes it feel like that we're supposed to accept a role as like you're in the Big 12. Oh yeah, you guys just suck. But it's in the group of six. You guys don't exist. You deserve to be in the you're FCS to us. The ACC and the Big 12. Yeah, you guys are terrible. Like what are you doing? And it's like they try to prop themselves as like these perfect conferences and whatever. It's like they can't ever do anything wrong. It's so ridiculous how the SEC and Big 10 think of themselves as higher than thou like these conferences. It's so dumb. I hate
yeah,
that the
dude.
most. Like I get it. Like I get it. You have probably the better talent and whatever. Draw the race, but that doesn't make anybody that's outside of it not valuable to watch.
Exactly. It makes no sense at all, dude. And I clearly I'm getting tired of it, and we something needs to change and change quick.
Yeah.
All right,
You know?
and then yeah, we're just gonna get off that topic before we blow our gaskets
Yeah.
even more.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think one last question to. Oh, go ahead, Cody. Sorry.
Go ahead and ask the question first, because
Yes. So I guess with all the stuff that we were talking about earlier, what are your thoughts on the future of cycling football and cycling athletics?
I don't know. I really don't know. There's so many directions this thing can go. This thing could either like work out fine because Jimmy Rogers could make it work, or shit hits the fan and it makes it really, really dire for Iowa State because this is not the time you want to be rebuilding a program. Like, this isn't the time. Because I think you just came off your best success and you like your best period of success and you want to keep that. So you got to do what you can. And I don't, it football as a whole, I don't know, man. I feel like some fans may be like worn out of having to constantly donate money only for them to be told like, oh yeah, we don't have like money for this and whatever. But then you also like opt out of something that can get you money, and you get fined by the conference for not playing in a bowl game. Because that's still the fine that Iowa State and Kansas State got each 500K.
Yeah, Kansas is getting that. UCF is getting. Yeah, we're all getting. Everybody's getting fined 500K, bro.
Yeah, it's like it's just a like, and now like also like the merging of like we will into like into the foundation and like how like NIL is changing. I don't know. It's uncertain, but I just think football like I think they'll be fine. I think we just gotta like wrinkle out through everything and whatever. But yeah, there obviously needs to be changes in how like the NIL is handled, and that's administrative. So they gotta restructure. Like they gotta change the way of thinking of like how to like spend out the money or whatever.
Yeah, no, they have to figure out. Yeah, the distribution of NIL funds that needs to change. We need to get into the modern era of doing that type of things if we want to survive in this new era of college football, just modern college athletics at that. But yeah, all right,
Yeah.
you guys. Thank you, everyone. We had Cody. We had a
Wait.
gigantic crowd, dude. We have 543 people tuned in.
Holy.
This
Yeah.
is by far
Yeah.
our best show ever.
Yeah.
So thank you, all you 543 sickos, for tuning in.
Yep. And I mean, okay, so we can get off of football real quick because this week it's going to be huge. Like, this isn't football, this is basketball we're
Yeah,
talking about. We need to talk about this week of basketball because it is Cyhawk Week number 2. We get to host the men's and women's teams off the team out east. So this is like your schedule for that. It will be Iowa State women hosting Iowa women in a top 15 matchup. I Bleav the women's team out of Iowa is number 12 heading into this game. I mean, they just beat the brakes off of Rutgers in Big Ten play. It was ugly. It was ugly. Yeah, 79-36. They held Rutgers to single-digit scoring in 3 of the 4 quarters. So
wow.
Iowa is coming in hot. I mean, 9-0, first in the Big Ten. They're trying to keep pace with Maryland and Nebraska, who's also undefeated. So they're going to be walking in against number 10 Iowa State, who had just played a game earlier today against Northern Illinois, where once again Iowa State puts up 100 points. Audie Crooks in 20 minutes or so, or like it was like 13 or whatever. Audie Crooks in 19 minutes puts up 30 points. So it's not like her putting up 40 some points in 20 minutes, but still, another day at the office. But we did see Addie Brown was on a triple double watch. She had 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. So me and everybody in there was really hoping that she got her triple double because that would have been a thing of beauty. But we did see some solid minutes out of our bench. Alyssa Williams had 14 points, and Reagan Wilson had 8 points, replacing an injured Race Beatty, who we did see was in a boot today. So nothing too great, nothing to write home about, but this is going to be a big week and for the women's team because it's been a while since they've beaten Iowa, and now that you're at Hilton, you no longer have to deal with the remnants of Lisa Bluter and Caitlin Clark. This is a big one. This is a big win that Iowa State needs to get on the women's side, and then on the men's side, you're going to be welcoming an Iowa squad who obviously brings in basically the entirety of the Drake University roster. I mean, I think 60% of that team including their head coach, is literally from Drake University. Like you bring obviously, yeah. Looking at it, yeah. Iowa State, we're trying to beat Iowa again. I want to beat them again. There's nothing that warms my heart more than just kicking Iowa's ass, and especially doing Hilton Coliseum. But I mean, the big matchup I think is obviously going to be interesting to see how Bennett Sturts handles this environment because I watched him play against Michigan State in Breslin, and he was rattled. And I think part of that comes down to the fact that like outside of Bennett Sturts, you really aren't getting much out of anybody from this Iowa team. Because I mean, taking a look at their latest game, I mean, they were playing Maryland. It's not nothing too crazy to write home, but I mean, Bennett's like, yeah, Bennett starts 25 points. So you obviously know what you get. Cooper Koch, Cam Manuel, and Tate Sage all put up double digit points. But in that game against Michigan State, it really was just Bennett starts or die for Iowa. So I'm really curious to see if Iowa can consistently have a second or third go to guy for Bennett starts because I don't think you can sustain being a team that literally rides off of Bennett starts. Because in the Michigan State game, he was the only guy that put up double digit points, and it was an ugly game for them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good matchup. I'm very very excited to see that Bennett Sturts versus Killian Torrey matchup. That is gonna be a fun.
Dude, I don't even know. It might not be him. It might be Lipsy. Imagine taming Lipsy on Bennett Sturts.
Bennett Sturts is gonna be in hell on Thursday, bro. I'm just saying
If he was in hell in Breslin, imagine what Hilton Coliseum does. And you know what is kind of funny is the fact that Iowa has Brendan Hassan, who was like the guy on Kansas State last year who lit us up from three and basically was part of the us getting our ass kicked. But he has not seen the floor at all. Like he barely saw the floor against Michigan State, and then I don't think he even saw the floor against Maryland. So it looks like he's not really seeing playing time. So I don't know. We have to worry about him as much.
For sure.
Yeah, he didn't even play in the game against Maryland, which is crazy. So I'm not worried about him at all. So yeah, mainly for me, it's just can Iowa State sustain the performance they had against Purdue, and I think they can. I think they can. Like that's a sustainable type of performance. And if you have Milan shooting the way he is, Jefferson doing all the stuff he's doing at his best. Obviously at Purdue, he coughed it up a couple times, but I think that was just him being rattled a little in the first half against Purdue, but he was able to settle in. So we saw our guys settle in against Purdue in the first half. I think Iowa State, our boys are not gonna have a problem settling into Cyhawk. And yeah, but dude, this fever dream, like this whole week would be great. Like, would be beautiful if, even with the football thing, we beat number one Purdue in their building, and then we just kick both Iowa squads' asses in basketball to just assert dominance over the state.
Yes, and
you looking at our team stats, Iowa State, they have a significant advantage in points per game. Their points per game are at 94.6. versus Iowa's 80. And Iowa State holds teams to 64 versus 62 for Iowa. And shooting wise, Iowa State is slightly better on better shooting, rebounding. They have the advantage, but the steals, dude. The amount of dude. If Killian Torrey hits the patented steal and dunk, you also get Taylor Lipsy getting involved in that too. Those two, I feel like, have patented the pick your pocket, the 5-finger discount for an easy bucket in transition.
Yep.
It is going to be a dream just to see Torrey pick Bennett Sturts' pocket at least a few times.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. But those games, so for the women's game, that will be on I think that was either ESPN or ESPN2 at 6 o'clock Central. And then the men's game will be on FS1 at 7 o'clock Central Time. But me and my boys, we're going to be camping out like crazy. And this is something I need to get off my chest too. They gave us a whole a list of so they gave us a memo for camping out and whatever. So what they told is so I think I have it. This was got emailed to all university students, whatever. So I'll kind of share the statement if we do have a good amount of Iowa State students watching this. But basically, this is kind of what we are seeing. So it talks about changes to the policy for camping. So it says students, other fans will be allowed to camp outside of Hilton starting at 12:01 the day of the game. So, and then they also said like students cannot have open flames, heaters, and generators. So, and it says any equipment including tents, tables, and chairs must be removed 5 hours before tip off. So thanks for that, I guess. But what makes me feel weird is like the whole thing last year, and I mean the weather. The weather thing is what makes me curious the most because oh boy, I can't believe I'm giving a live. We're giving a live forecast. Wednesday looks to be a pretty chill. Like it's not as bad as like what it was last week, but it's still going to be a bit cold. It's going to be windy in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon on Wednesday, and then Thursday will be pretty stable, but it's going to be like in the teens. So yeah, definitely have to dress warm, but I'm pretty sure us Iowa State people, we've got all the winter gear.
For sure. All right, Cody. Thank you for basketball breakdown. Clones fans, make sure to channel all your angry energy into Hilton on Wednesday and Thursday. We are going to need it against the Hawks as we continue to dominate the Cyhawk series. With that, we are going to end tonight's show. A few things before we go that we're going to talk about. A big thank you to our sponsor, FanDuel. There are tons of promos, things to bet on right now. We have NFL rounding into the playoffs. We have NHL, NBA. So and there's tons, and you can bet on the college football playoff. So tons of stuff to bet on at FanDuel. We also our feeds we also have been nominated by FeedSpot. We are a top 15 sports podcast in the state of Iowa. Well, not top 10 sportscasts in the state of Iowa, and now top 40 most listened to podcasts in the state of Iowa. So thank you, state of Iowa listeners. Thank you, everyone who supports us. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Follow us on social media. I can be found at Sci-Tie Guy, and
Let's just say no. I've been rebranded. I've officially rebranded now
yes.
that I kind of have to retire the Matt Campbell thing because now he's no longer with Iowa
Yes.
State. I've officially rebranded to Tierney's Burner, so it's a volleyball. So it's a volleyball burner. Yeah.
Yeah, so follow him at Tierney's Burner. I will update that on the graphics for next week's show. And then also just follow, if this is your first time tuning in, thank you and welcome. Follow us on all of our forms of social media. We can be found on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And if you're also on Twitch, go follow the Twitch page at Bleav in IS 2025. I also have our podcast and full episodes up there. Also, I will also stream my Iowa State Dynasty on NCAA from time to time. So if you want to watch me play, go do that.
Coach Carter coaching Iowa State.
Hey, look, bro. Look, if we go back to the dark days, man, I gotta we gotta have the dreams of us being good again. So.
Oh, I wasn't even. I was referring to I was referring to the Coach Carter movie, but hey, that's a classic movie though. That's a classic. Coach Carter, it's a classic.
I'm surprised you know. Look.
Yeah, I knew it. I watched it a lot as a kid. They always showed it to me in like middle. They always showed it to me in middle school and high school. When I would be like in sports classes, they would always show Coach Carter. Like, if I don't see you like pulling like a full speech like Samuel L. Jackson, I'd be severely disappointed.
I'll make sure I'll have to video my speeches before I play games. All right, we're gonna close tonight's show. For Tyler Carter,
and for Cody Metzilam,
this is the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. Roll Clones, baby.
Go Cyclones.